Today's episode of the Eskimo Empire podcast is brought to you by Park Power, a provider of electricity and natural gas that offers low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. In Alberta, you get to choose who you buy your energy from. Park Power has low overhead, and chances are you'll save money if you switch. You can find out how much money you would save by visiting parkpower.ca and plugging your numbers into the Alberta Energy Savings Calculator. If you decide to switch, it's super easy. Nothing changes about your service, only the price you pay. Learn more at parkpower.ca. Enjoy the show.
Hey, fellas, we ain't gonna ever back down from nobody. I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody light me up.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire podcast.
This is Trevor Harris.
Hey, how you doing? This is number 58, Travis Bond.
This is Christoph Malumba Chimanga.
Hey there, this is your co-host, Kenny Stafford.
Hey, this is Ryan King.
Calvin McCarty.
And you are listening to...
You're listening to the Eskimos Empire.
You're listening to the Eskimo Empire podcast.
The Eskimo Empire podcast. Hope you guys enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the Turf District for the Eskimo Empire podcast. And we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. I am your host, Andrew, and we have a bit of a Spepisode for you today as we caught up with our favorite rush end, that being Mr. Kwaku Boateng, and just to talk to him a little bit about his upcoming camp, the new coaches, and kind of what he's been doing in the off-season. We did have Ryan Ballantyne in the house, as he had stopped in to record another episode that we'll get out to you later. And so he decided to join in on the conversation with Kwaku, which was a ton of fun, as always, whenever we get to chat with both of these two guys. So I hope you enjoyed this interview. Let's get to it right now. All right, now joined by our favorite defensive lineman, one and only EarthKwaku, number 93, Kwaku Boateng. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Doing very well. Thank you again for coming back. And I think you're getting close. I'm pretty sure, actually, you are our most visited player. You seem to come on all the time, which is outstanding.
He's the Steve Martin of your show.
It's always a great time. So it's never a problem for me.
Awesome. So how's the off season been, man?
It's been productive. It's been busy. Just focus on training and just finding a way to be impactful in the community.
Awesome. Now, yeah, tell me about this ridiculous jumping up from your knees to your feet with some type of barbell across your shoulders. I saw that on Twitter. I just about fell over. I'm like, that hurts to watch.
Yeah, right now I'm training out of Eats, which is based out of Spruce Grove. The trainer out there, Brad, his intent is almost to kill us every time we go into the gym. But I think that I'm moving in strides, great strides in terms of my progression, in terms of my cardio, my strength, and everything. So that was just a quick display of one of the challenges that he challenged me personally to do, and I kind of shocked myself. And I'm glad that was caught on video, because I don't think anyone would have believed that I would have had that much weight on me doing that exercise.
Well, and for somebody that hasn't seen it, because I'm not a guy that follows a lot of Eskimos on Twitter, I gotta ask you, how much weight was on the bar? Are we talking like Terry Williams weight, or are we talking like Derek Dennis weight? How much weight was on the bar?
Yeah, so I think the vest was weighted 30 pounds, and then the bar itself is 45, and then it had 25 pounds on each side, so that's 50. And then I had ankle weights on, which were about, I think, maybe 5 or 6 pounds apiece. So,
so just about linebacker weight.
Wow!
Like you put a linebacker on and then jumped up from your knees to your feet.
Yeah, potentially like an all-star linebacker in like university weight. Yeah. Maybe not a pro linebacker weight, but close enough for a university or high school linebacker weight. Yeah.
Well, if we're letting Ryan talk, but just so that you know, if it really gets to a point where it's difficult, the safe word is aardvark. If you can just say that, then I'll cut his mic. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, other than your training, as it turns out, you ended up with some new coaches coming in this year. Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Thorpe and Coach Milanovic? Easy for me to say. And what's your impression been so far?
Yeah, obviously it's unfortunate to see Coach Moss leave, and I'm happy that he got an opportunity with Saskatchewan Roughriders. I got a brief meeting with the head coach. Just said hi, just popped and said hi, but he was busy at that time. And I actually was on the phone with Coach Thorpe maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he was just breaking down what he expects from me and ultimately what he expects from the defense as a whole, which is nice to know. And he seems like a great guy. He seems like someone that wants to be here and wants to make an impact. And I think that both coaches, obviously the whole coach staff, the new coach staff, they all want to be here, or else Brock wouldn't have brought them along. And I think it's a blessing that we have them, because I think the last time Coach M was in the CFL, he took the Argos to a Grey Cup. So
Absolutely.
We need that kind of energy, and I'm sure that we're going to get that energy this year.
Well, that's awesome. I know you got to be at least somewhat excited, because that defensive line is going to be unreal this year, including you on it. At one point we were joking, because they've signed so many of them, that they could just line up 12 D linemen and say, "Let's go, see if you can just if they can get the pass out before you guys get to them, then good on them. But other than that, just go get them."
That's what it kind of looks like. But if you know anything about football, it's all about the front. It's whether it's the O line or the D line, and that's what really helps you win the game. Obviously, you want to have a good quarterback, but outside of the quarterback position, you want to make sure you have a good O line and good D line. And I think that Eskimos have that. You know what I mean? We have a very well disciplined and very well decorated O line, and a D line that's governed by Coach Maxey. So it's a great group.
That's awesome. And I guess that probably made you pretty happy knowing that Coach Maxey's coming back.
Oh, yeah. Coach Maxey's my dog. He's I love having him around, and he definitely knows how to coach me and how to keep me level-headed and keep me focused, and ultimately get the best out of me and get the best out of all of us as the D-line. So we work together, and we're successful.
Awesome. So now tell us here, because you're back in Edmonton, like you said, you're training in Spruce Grove, but part of the reason that you're back here is that you have a camp coming up called Sacks for Racks. So tell us a little bit about Sacks for Racks in general, and a little information on the camp.
Yeah, so this being my first time ever being in Edmonton year-round, I really wanted to find something to keep me occupied throughout the winter, and it started off with just something simple, starting an Instagram account back in July called Sacks for Racks. And it was kind of play on words in the sense that I remember before my recent contract, in my head was, the more sacks I get, the more racks I get. And a lot of people, some people ask what racks are, and racks are, just to clear it up, racks are like $1,000 or money in denomination of $1,000. So if I owed you, Andrew, like $2,000, I could say I owe you 2 racks. So it's just slang.
All right.
Yeah. So essentially, it's that's how I got it. It's literally in your head, especially as a pro athlete. The more receptions or the more touchdowns, or in my case, the more sacks I get, the more racks that the output will be. And I just kind of ran with it, and no one else had that name anywhere, and I felt original with it. And I worked on getting it branded by myself, and then so I built up the Instagram page, and then I got to the winter, and I realized that all I do is train. So why don't I help other people? Because I'm in a position right now where, as you know, there aren't many Canadian defensive linemen or Canadian pass rushers in this league, whether it's the NFL or CFL. So I figured, why don't I take this a bit further than just teaching youth on Instagram how to pass rush and actually utilizing it physically. And obviously, it just felt natural to start off in Edmonton. And I was very happy to bring it out. And Sacks for Racks really is just a brand that's dedicated on empowering and inspiring young pass rushers to learn the game. And one fact that you might actually find interesting is that right now, the only position outside of quarterback, the highest paid position outside of quarterback is a pass rusher.
Ooh.
So if you look at Aaron Donald, look at Cleo Mack, you look at Chandler Jones, even when you look at the CFL, you look at Willie Jefferson, you know what I mean? You look at Charleston Hughes. It pays to rush the passer. So I think there's a huge focus here of really helping the younger demographic learn this game. And the social aspect of it is the goal is for these camps to gradually become more affordable. And then the second piece is making sure that the people that can afford these camps, they bring non-perishable items, so canned goods and whatnot, to each of these camps. And that will allow me to take those items as an organization and bring it to the local food bank. And the last thing is that the proceeds from these camps are going to help fund future scholarships for student athletes in the university post-secondary world, because I think that there's a lot of criticism right now in terms of, at least when I came out of the draft, is, oh, he's Canadian, he can't rush the passer. Oh, he's Canadian, he's too one-dimensional, whatever the case may be. And I want to kind of ruin that stigma by helping the youth, obviously the grassroots football in Canada, through the camps, and then also rewarding those who do great on the field as a pass rusher in the university level by providing them scholarships. So, for example, Andrew, if you play for U of A and you had 12 sacks,
yep.
You know what I mean, and you led the whole West Division in sacks with that 12, I'd give you $1,000. So I'll give you $500. And each division, so there's the West, there's the Quebec, there's the AUS, and then there's the OUA where I came from. And each division leader would get, let's say, $500. And let's say if, Andrew, your 12 sacks was good enough to lead the whole country, you get another $500. So literally, it's an opportunity for me to live by my name, which is Sacks for Racks, and that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to get this brand to the point where it's literally Canada's premier destination for pass rush fundamentals. So I can kind of remove that stigma that also hurt me going into the draft. And like your buddy said, now a lot of teams are probably readjusting themselves and thinking, maybe Canadians can rush the passer.
Kwaku, just a quick one to that. You mentioned, I mean, you're a ratio changing D end. Is this camp also for D tackles, or is this primarily a rush end spot? Because we know Micah Johnson made his money in Calgary getting to the quarterback, but he was coming from the tackle spot. So is it going to be is the first camp primarily focusing on D ends and how to get around that tackle, or are there going to be spots from all four spots on that D line?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, this is I don't even want to box it into positions. I want athletes. Whoever wants to learn the game and learn how to pass rush from me, you're invited to come. And the only limitations to it is the ages are focused on adolescents. So literally ages 13 to 18. And there's a limit of how many athletes I want to be there. I want there to only be 93, which is obviously matches my number.
Good choice.
I wanted, yeah. More importantly, I didn't want it to be, I know a lot of athletes will run camps and they'll want like hundreds of kids. I want it to be more concise. So when an athlete does come to the camp, it's more so when they leave, Kwaku taught me how to pass rush. Boateng taught me how to pass rush. It's not, you just came to my camp and like miscellaneous athletes helped you learn how to pass rush. No, I want it to be tight enough group of athletes that I can generally say that at the end of the camp, you've learned as much as I could teach you, or as much time as we had to teach you how to pass rush. And yeah, that's really the main focus.
That's awesome. Now, do you have other guys that are coming out to do this with you, or are you running this yourself, or what's going on with that?
So I would be the lead coach. The camp starts March 27th, which is great because it's March Breaks Friday here in Alberta, and it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I booked out the whole Footfield Dome at the U of A
nice.
Area. Yeah, so the whole dome is booked out for this event. I'm really excited about it. People are flying it. People are quickly signing up, which is great. But I'm going to be looking at people like Armando Sewell, Mike Moore, myself, and some of the people I also train with. But the main thing is that it's not supposed to be a star-studded cast. So, for example, if Mike Moore shows up for an hour or whatever, his intent is really just to talk or help out. And the people that will be there, like physically helping out, being part of the drills, are going to be U of A students. And that's kind of the goal going forward, is that the people that I hire are all university student athletes. So even the person that made my poster for me is a university student athlete. The person I want to hire to videotape and take photos for the event are university student athletes. So it's literally in this ecosystem of give and take, right? So obviously I'm taking the funds to help fund the camp itself, but it's helping pay for a university student athlete that's going to take, as if I paid Mike Moore $250 or $100. That's not going to go as far as you gave that money to a university student athlete. So that's the ecosystem that I'm trying to develop with this brand. So it goes way further than just any camp. It's supposed to feel like a culture. It's supposed to feel like a community when you come to the camp.
So you're teaching kids to collect sacks and not autographs, is what you're saying?
yeah. And I really want to make it level-headed in the sense that I don't want athletes coming and feeling like, oh, he's a pro athlete. Oh, he's no. At the end of the day, treat me like your head coach at high school, whatever the case is, and it's going to be that kind of relationship. And that's the main focus. That's really the main focus right there. Just to make sure that we're all on the same level, and the end goal is for all of us to learn how to rush the passer effectively. So whether you're a linebacker, a defensive back, or a quarterback that wants to learn what a rusher is doing, it doesn't really matter. So it's not. It doesn't really matter. It's for whoever is ambitious and driven to learn this position and really profit from it.
Oh, that's outstanding. Now, the important question for me is, as part of the teaching, are you going to teach them the hula hoop celebration or the bat?
I'm trying to keep it PG, so it's got to be the bat.
Okay, good. Okay. just making sure. I gotta, yeah. My son will have to come next year. So I just want to make sure I have the right. We're all on the same page and we're teaching the right one. No, I'm just kidding. So where does everybody go to try and get signed up for the camp and make sure that they can take a part of this thing?
Yeah. So like I was talking about before, I have a Instagram page set up that actually is close to 2,000 followers in less than 7 months.
Wow, nice.
I'm all over Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, but the main place is my website. But on all those social channels, the website's all over there. But it's www.sacks4racks, so it's SACKS 4 FOR racks RACKS.com. So if you get lost or if you forget that, just hop on the Instagram page, creep it out, and see the contents. And I think the content's really going to exemplify what you can expect at the camp.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that we include that in the show notes so that people can find it and be a part of it for sure. Yeah, no problem. We got a couple of Kwaku questions for you from fans. Joe asked, a whole bunch of ridiculous questions like he normally does, but one was a little bit okay, which was, what is the best type of pizza in your mind?
The best type of pizza in my mind is a little bit of everything. I think there has to be green peppers in there. I see pineapples, hot Italian sausage, pepperoni, banana peppers.
Ooh.
Yeah, you see, if I make it myself, I'm putting a lot of it on. And actually, I'll put a lot of it on. And ironically, I was actually just at Nisa's Pizza back up in Sherwood Park.
Yeah,
it's actually one of the owners going to be Nisa's Pizza is going to be one of our main sponsors for the camp.
Nice. Okay.
And also the caterer. So everyone that ends up coming to the camp will get their choice of pizza. So I got the opportunity to sit with Peter, he's the owner of Nietzsche's Pizza, and he gave me a chance to really create my own pizza. So I'm just reciting what I put on my pizza that time.
Well, as a Stamps fan, Kwaku, as camp approaches, I encourage you to eat just as many of those pizzas as you can. House 2 or 3 of them every single day, so that way you just, you're right ready for camp, as ready as a Stamps fan would want you to be.
Okay, I appreciate the moral support. I appreciate it.
I was totally waiting for the aardvark right there. That was coming. Okay, now your old buddy and our also friend of the show, Natea J, asked, "What is the meaning of your name?"
Yeah, so he asked that because he's Ghanaian, but so essentially the funny thing is that my first name is supposed to be Akusa, and my middle name is supposed to be Kwaku. But that's the whole different story. But ultimately, Kwaku means born on Wednesday, and in the Ashanti culture back home, we value days of the week. So if you're born, I think on Friday or Saturday, like my youngest brother is, his middle name is Kofi, and then there's a female counterpart to it, which I can't remember in my head. Or if you're born on Monday, I think as a female, your middle name should be Akuya. And that's what Nate brought that up. Yeah, so Kwaku is my name, or like kind of like Kubina. Kubina's Kubina might be Tuesday or Thursday. I'd have to ask her. But it's actually Kubina's birthday today, so shout out to Kubina. But yeah, it's just based on the week, the day of the week, and that's supposed to be your middle name. Yeah, just a little gimmick of I wouldn't say gimmick, but part of our culture back home.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Like that's the best explanation of hump day I've ever heard ever. Like I'm a Wednesday day. I'm a Wednesday baby. Right from that. That's outstanding. That's very cool. Derek wanted me to ask, who is your favorite quarterback to sack? And please say Bo Levi Mitchell. No, I'm kidding. No.
I mean, it should be. He's hard to get.
It is Bo Levi Mitchell, and I've hit him a few times. But each time, he either just gets the ball, he just throws the ball away, or the one time I did sack him like fully, and he had the ball, we got a penalty on defense.
Yeah.
So this day I haven't had the opportunity to officially sack him. So yes, he's on top of my list.
So the racks are coming for Bo Levi Mitchell, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Once I sack him, I'm going to be doing the money dance for sure. I already sacked him, and he knows I already sacked him. It's just more so it wasn't official.
Well, we know you'll make it happen this year. We really do appreciate that.
Oh, for sure.
We is a strong word.
Yeah, well,
right now
I'm just throwing it out there. Well, Kwaku, as always, I can't thank you enough for coming on to chat with us, and I really hope that the camp goes really, really well. And plug again where everybody can find your Instagram and your Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah. So again, just visit our website www.sacs4racks, which is again sacs as in a regular sack, which is SACKS 4 FOR racks. RACKS.com. And if you want to check out our content on a daily basis, it's Sacs4Racks on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Kwaku, as a Stamps fan, I just, I want to wish you a fantastic 15 games this year. You can light up everybody else, and I'd be more than happy with that. I love to see ratio breaking guys that get the job done, that with the right passport in a spot where guys typically don't make a difference. And to do that, you got to be a lot more talented, I think, than even just being more talented than the American guy. You have to justify that passport sometimes in those positions. And as a guy looking from afar, when I can put on my neutral glasses even for a minute, it's a hell of a job you've done to get to the spot where you are.
I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Well, we're big fans here, Kwaku, and we're very excited to see you on one side, Betts on the other side, and let's go get some quarterbacks in training camp.
That'd be crazy. That'd be very, very crazy.
I know. Wouldn't it be awesome? I'm so looking forward to it. That's going to be awesome.
This is Trevor Harris, and you're listening to the Eskimos Empire Podcast.
I want to send a shout out to all of our friends in the Alberta Podcast Network that won Canadian Podcast Awards this week. Dave Berta, Emily Missed Out, Press Start to Join, Soundheim Podcast, That's a Thing, and our very good friend Vanda with the Tight Ends Podcast. She describes the pod as a way to understand her husband's obsession with football, and it's turned into a whole bunch more. She may not know football, but she knows a tight end when she sees one, and I love that line. And of course, she's been a good supporter of the show and a great friend. Join all the sports talk fun and search out the Tight Ends Podcast everywhere that you find your podcasts, or find the link with all the other great shows at albertapodcastnetwork.com. I want to thank again Kwaku for joining us, and make sure that you are finding all of those things with Sacks for Racks. That's Sacks for Racks on Twitter, or as he said a couple of times, www.sacks4racks with FOR is .com. And make sure you sign up for the camp, and we'll post a poster as well so that you can see when that's going to be, or if you know somebody that's in that age range that wants to get in and have some fun with Kwaku and learn from one of the best, this is the time to do it. I do want to thank Ryan for joining us as well. He has about 8 million plugs, which I will get to when we release his show. But for now, you can follow him at BBCanRyan on Twitter, and that's probably the best place to get all of the links to everywhere that he is. We'll have another show coming out for you on Monday, and we'll be joined by our favorite stats man, Uncle BD. We'll talk some stats. We're going to talk Randy's road trip. We will talk about some of the other things that are going on in the CFL and with the Esks, and kind of get all that other regular news to you. That should be coming out on Tuesday, but make sure that you join us Monday night as we have the
YouTube Live!
Just search up our page on YouTube, which is the Eskimo Empire Podcast, and you can join in with all the fun live when we start there, probably about 8:15 or so on Monday night, and we get a chance to kind of answer some questions and have a few laughs, so make sure you do that. Want to send a shout out, of course, to our sister way over there in Cambodia, Duchess Lombardi on Twitter, Commissioner Kayla, as we call her. And of course, you can find Superfan at 56 Parkies and of course at Esks History. If you haven't already, this show comes out. You still have time. You've got about 24 hours left to get in your votes for the O-line on the Esks all-time depth chart. Make sure that you follow at Esks History to grab that link. Get your votes in. Prizes are available to be won, and we will announce all of those when we get to the show on Monday night. You can find me at Freepalicious, the show at Esk Empire Pod. Of course, make sure you check out all the shows on the Canadian Football Podcast Network. You can find that at CF Pod Network on Twitter. And there's lots going on as shows are firing up with free agency. And of course, they're talking lots and lots about the season to come. So go over there and grab those. And of course, follow all of our brothers and sisters on the Alberta Podcast Network at albertapodcastnetwork.com. We are working on our live show, which we are hoping to be on May 9th. We've had a little bit of a skip as far as finding a location, so we're working on that. We should have information for you very soon. So for Ryan, Kwaku, and myself, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you in a couple days.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.